Pulp MX Network production.
Bringing you a cheeky Brit and an American YouTube racing sensation weekly. It's the LVK More Than Moto podcast with your hosts, Phillips and Kellen Brauer.
Welcome back, everyone, to another Leatt LVK More Than Moto podcast. I am Kellen Brauer, joined by Phillips. 2 rounds of Monster Energy Supercross have come and gone, and boy, is there a lot to talk about from this second round in San Diego. My hometown race, unfortunately, I was not able to attend as my wife and kids were sick, but Big Lou did make it. We got pizza reviews coming in hot today. A fun day in the sun down in San Diego, right?
Yeah, San Diego is delivering year after year. Another very good Supercross. Kind of sad in a way because I had a moment where I realized this is not going to last. As is the case every year. Inevitably, there will be injuries. Maybe one guy catches fire, runs away. Who knows? Crashes, DNFs. So I feel like we really need to make the most of this while we've got it. And that's what I intend to do.
This isn't a topic I wanted to dive into too much, but is that one of the best 3-rider races we've ever seen? Like, normally you get like a good 2-rider battle at the front for the win kind of thing, and it's awesome. But I can't remember a race. I mean, there's probably some, but I can't remember a lot of races where 3 guys kind of legitimately had a shot to win it for a long time.
Well, yeah, what comes to mind when you think of trios battling for the win? Because I'm drawing a blank trying to come up with the last one.
I just can't think of one that goes all the way to the end, and you could say Kenny maybe wasn't in it by the end, but like even you go back to A2 last year, I mean, Jason led 10 minutes, Jet took the lead, but then it felt like everybody was still pretty close for a long time to like where I'm a little mistake, maybe something changes. Like, I don't know, races like those come to mind, but not many that I can think of where clearly Kenny was probably the best to start, then Hunter was best to finish, maybe Eli was best in the middle, and they all had their strengths and weaknesses throughout the race that resulted in it staying as close as it did.
Yeah, it's just rare to have this case where 3 riders start up front and then go at it for the win. Like even that A2 example. Yes, it is that way in the way the race played out, but also instrumental in that was, it's just Jet kind of picking his way through riders, and then once he got out front, it was over. So it isn't quite the same. I definitely think that what we had in San Diego was lightning in a bottle a little bit, or something that's a rarity and should be enjoyed, celebrated, and whatnot. So, yeah, very good. Very, very good.
Are you more surprised that Eli and Kenny were back to the same story with them on year 13, just still going at it against each other for wins? Or that Hunter is already like this close to being in the mix with these guys through 2 rounds?
No, specifically, I'm surprised that Hunter, who was kind of lurking off the back of these guys at the halfway mark, managed to pull himself into race win contention. I never, in a million years, at the halfway point, whatever else, even the 75% mark, would I have bet or expected Hunter to pull himself to Tomac's rear wheel. So that was a massive, I tweeted it, but that was a massive statement of intent from Hunter, a massive just breakout moment, if you want to call it that. Still only his 3rd 450 podium, but in comparison to the other 2, it was easily his most authoritative, commanding, whatever word you want to use.
Yeah, I would actually, say that I probably felt this, but would you say, like, if I asked you halfway through that main event when Chase got to 4th that he has a better chance than Hunter at winning this race? Yes or no?
Oh, yeah, without doubt. Because at one point it seemed like Hunter was just 3rd and that was going to be his lot. And then Chase was 4th for a while, and Chase was going ridiculously fast and was half a second, 8/10 quicker than those guys in front of him. So it seemed like, Chase is going to get to 3rd, and then will he manage to get to the front? Who knows? But 3rd seemed inevitable. Ultimately, it wasn't. And again, that's where it's good, though, because I feel like more often than not, when you're at that lap 14 mark, you kind of can see how it's going to play out, and it more often than not does in that fashion. But the script at lap 14, what transpired after that almost was completely in contrast to what everyone expected, which I think is why it was such a well-received race, let's say.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's one of those races where it kept me on my toes really like all the way to the end, where obviously Hunter catching him late kind of reinvigorated the adrenaline spike that you have watching a race like this. But, even until probably 3 to go, it didn't feel like Eli was getting away like that crazy either. So, really awesome race. Like, cool to see that we see that level from all three guys. And so far, a lot of people predicted it would be Chase and Webb in this to some facet. And for the race win's sake, neither of them have been, which means at some point, those guys will be probably, I would assume with Webb too, in this fight for the win. And if those guys are still as good as we saw at San Diego, this could be a lot of fun the next few weeks.
Yeah, I believe that's the only question mark remaining with Tomac now, is how does it look when, say, Chase and Coop start there as well? Because he's answered every single question. We just haven't seen basically the San Diego situation, but instead of Kenny and Hunter, it's Chase and Coop. We haven't really seen them factor in. They've almost been irrelevant as far as the battle for podium positions go. So that will be the only test or the only unanswered question with Eli, because he's damn near solved every other remark or preseason comment.
Yeah. With Kenny specifically, what's your sense of urgency right now that he needs to win a race soon to not, I don't know, necessarily have like the trend go the wrong way is not the way I want to say this, but in the past, he does start to tail off in the second half of the championship, and really where he's been in title fights is because he builds up a big points haul at the beginning. So does he need to start winning soon to say that he's going to be in this for the long haul?
No, because he didn't win until Daytona last year, and even Glendale in the year before was round 5 or 6, Indy the year before that. So I almost feel like the narrative, yes, of course, Kenny does start strong every year, but this is the first time he started the season with back-to-back podiums since 2019. So I think at its core, that remark is correct, but I feel like we've all maybe run with it too much, and the numbers cause the picture to be misshapen a little bit. Like, yes, he is at his best at the start of the season. That's without doubt. But that doesn't mean that at the start of the season he hits a peak that isn't reachable or sustainable. It's just that I would argue maybe a more accurate way to put it is Kenny is at his most consistent at the start of the season, rather than Kenny is at his best. Maybe that's a better way to look at it. But I don't know. I think Kenny's just doing what Kenny does, and that's fine. There's no need to maybe go above that at this point, and we don't need to see more. If you laid out the blueprint for what Kenny needs to do, he's kind of just doing it. So you'd kind of just want to see him stick to this sort of plan. I think more so than a win boosting the perception, I think it would be more damning if in A2 he is 7th or 8th. And that would be more, what would you say? That would be more overbearing on the narrative than a win at A2.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I do wonder a little bit of, like you said, with Chase and Eli, that dynamic that we'll see at some point probably soon. I think Eli will raise his game even a little bit more once Chase is in this fight, just from a raw speed perspective. We know Eli can go the distance in any main, but he even, kind of made a point to say like he was unaware Hunter had closed up that quick and was in a way managing the end of that race. And I wonder if when Chase is there, it elevates both of them a little bit more, and Kenny has to rise to that. So, like, again, I hate to use the term like needs to get it done soon, but I was just curious of like, were these opportunities where in the past it would have been better for Kenny to have won because it was just him and Eli, and once Chase is in this and maybe even Webb again, it's kind of like all over the place, and it's going to be tough for him to beat all of those guys at the same time.
Yeah, without doubt. I mean, you can definitely use the narrative or the headline that Eli has capitalized brilliantly on Chase and Coop through the first 2 rounds. And maybe when we get to the end, you look back and you go, yeah, Kenny was on the podium twice, but he really could have had 2 wins there and put Chase and Coop up against the ropes. Ultimately, the door is open, and Eli has taken full advantage of that. Kenny has taken 95% advantage of that. But I still don't think there's room or necessarily license to be critical of Kenny for his results. I think it's been, okay, maybe San Diego a little bit puzzling that he did end up 3rd, he led the most laps, all of that good stuff. So maybe a little odd that he didn't at least finish in the top 2. But I certainly have no questions or doubts or queries about Kenny at this point, because as I said, he's just doing the Kenny model, the Kenny blueprint.
Yeah. And maybe that's, the fact that he hasn't won yet is going to be good for him to keep kind of chasing that carrot a little bit and go get a win like he did at Daytona, like you said last year. And and staying in it as long as he can. So it's going to be fun, man. Like, I feel like this has started off in a cool trajectory where it doesn't feel like, as good as Eli has been, I'm not necessarily there on, oh, he's going to run away with this thing just yet. And so once we see this level out a little bit and the normal players and contenders become the norm at the front, we might be in for some real knockdown, drag out kind of stuff for, race wins every week. And like you said, hopefully no injuries falter that. But at least it's not like Chase won the first two and has a massive points lead, because I think maybe a little bit different tone would be pitched at this point with knowing his history and how streaky he is to go on a run with this thing. Yeah,
and even if Chase or Coop catch fire starting at A2 and start reeling off wins, it will now take a little while for them to be in an authoritative position. So that, the way it's laid out, has kind of saved us from that for the time being. Really, the only danger man of making this a snoozer for the next 6 weeks is Eli. And I think with Eli and the way he's positioned in the series, age, new team and whatnot, there's always kind of going to be a, well, let's wait and see factor with each week. So that also keeps it interesting. It's definitely shaping up nicely, because mostly at this point, how many times have we left Anaheim 2 or entered Anaheim 2 and the top 5 are separated by 5 points, 6 points?
Yeah, true.
I feel like that's been a stat for the last 5 years, where you leave A2 and the TV broadcast is screaming, this is the closest top 5 we've ever had. And next year the same, next year the same. Actually, I think I may have just come around to preferring it this way, because if they were all so close, that kind of puts us in a pre-A1 position where someone can just take off. Whereas now, Coop and Chase specifically cannot just take off. They first need to draw level, and that's, I don't know, a little spicier. You can even compare to 09 James Stewart on a Yamaha. Yes, he reeled off 7 wins after A1, but it took him a long old time to get the red plate because of the hole he was digging himself out of. So although it was the same winner every week, it still kept it interesting from a point picture. And that's kind of what we've got now, if Chase and Coop are going to pull themselves back in this, which I think is still question mark worthy.
Yeah, to be determined. I mean, I think we'll get to Coop in a second, but I actually like the position Chase is in. Of course, you want to have more points. He's 18 points down, I think, through 2. Not great. But in the past, when he has like the almost nothing to lose mentality, that's when he's done his best work, in my opinion. Like when he's had to manage a championship lead or be right in the thick of it, I feel like at times that mental frustration creeps in a little bit. When it's just go out and win races, he seems to kind of do that. So maybe that's also a good, omen for where this championship could go, because I think he might be able to hit his stride.
Well, you could argue that metaphorically, his start to the season is symbolic of hitting the gate. And he is now position 18-point deficit. He's position 18 on lap 1, and he's got to come through. And similar to what you just said, in individual races, that's where he does his best work. So it all checks out for whatever reason.
How did it make you feel when you talked to him post-race that he said basically just every week he gets roasted and all the memes and stuff like that, and then you're just like, yeah, me too. Like, this is just our life. We just both deal with it.
Yeah, I need to rewatch that interview, because I'm not sure where the statement to the social media people came from. Did I ask for that, or did he just kind of ignore me and take the reins? Or I don't know how we got to the point where he was like, I've got a message for everyone. Like we just like, oh, okay.
I think you did say something like, this won't go well on social media, or something about him hitting the gate.
Yeah, probably.
So, I can't remember the exact reviews, but yeah.
I liked his phrase of "I'm always in the oven." I'm going to steal that. That's quite good, I think.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before, but it's actually quite a good way to put it. I may even steal that and apply it to other riders. That may be my new tagline with analysis.
Yeah. No, that's pretty funny. I didn't want this to be a topic, but it turns out we did do a good little spiel on the 450 class, and I'm glad we did, because our next topic is going to be the ire of everyone as per usual. But before we do that, let me tell you guys about Leatt. Leatt Protection is in our brand DNA. It started 20 years ago with the groundbreaking Leatt neck brace and continues today with an extensive product offering of protective gear and riding apparel. But what Leatt really stands for is inspiring confidence and ensuring safety with every ride. Be sure to visit Leatt.com. Check out all of their 2026 line of gear. And what did you think of the kits this weekend? Nichols or Hill is my moniker now. I just try to see which one looks better. I can't tell which
Nichols.
one it was this week, though. You like Nichols?
Yeah, honestly, I think I said this last week. What's really going to look great on a black KTM? It's just a weird setup, isn't it? Whereas a Suzuki's fairly neutral. You can look good on a Suzuki with most colors.
Well, maybe they bring their snow leopard gear back to combat One Industries. That would look good on a black KTM.
Yeah, how shocking that One Industry has had the balls to come out with a snow leopard gear when they are so aligned with South African culture. If I've seen one snow leopard in South Africa, I've seen them all. It's unbelievable that One Industries would take shot at a nation like this. And, a lot of World War discussions at the moment. And one may start off the back of this cross-border disrespect.
Well, I think we should stand in solidarity and lead the charge by both wearing fur coats on the podcast next week.
Honestly, I think One Industries did a really good job with the launch of that gear, the photo shoot. I liked it all. It definitely harped back to the One Industries of old in the way it was presented and all of that. I think One Industries killed it with that. I liked that.
Yeah. But also Leatt's great too.
Well, they've got snow leopards.
They do. Okay, let's get into the meat of this topic because everybody's talking about it and people are annoyed that more people aren't talking about the other block passes, maybe. But yeah, Hayden Deegan runs it up the inside of Max Anstey and with a little brake slide up into his front tire, takes him down. You could say Max was maybe poorly reactive to that or gave up the line too much or whatever you want to say. But the end result is one rider is on the deck and the other one goes on to win the race. So basically what I wanted to do with this topic is not talk about the semantics of this pass and the frustration level with it. But I'm curious how much you put stock into the history of a rider doing this when you look at passes like this. And now I feel like if I look at Vince Freeze, I can't put individual things he does anymore in a vacuum because it just harps back on, well, what about when he just T-boned Christian Craig, or what about when he laid into Weston Pike and got hit in the face? Like all of this stuff just stacks up. But the flip side is that takeout from Hayden Deegan really wasn't all that bad. We've seen 100 takeouts like that. So I don't really care that much about that takeout, but also there's a history building here a little bit. So do you look at it that way, or do you try to take all of these as one pass at a time?
Well, if you're trying to compare Hayden to Vince Freeze, then I'm out on that.
Well, I'm not comparing him.
I'm
saying Vince is a clear example of he's built a history behind him that leads people to believe he's a dirty rider. I'm not saying Hayden is there, but I'm also saying you can look and see a clear path that he has ran it into other riders and left them on the ground, and it's left people frustrated, which is why I think the majority of people that are mad are mad. I don't care. He can take out whoever he wants. It doesn't affect me at the end of the day. But I see the backlash on social media that he's getting, and then it feels like the Deegan fans don't understand why people are pissed off about this, but I'm trying to make that bridge a little bit.
Yeah, okay. I think that maybe Hayden doesn't have a track record of dirty passes, but he definitely has a track record of unnecessary passes. And therefore, I think that when Hayden is in a situation, you have to be aware or maybe expecting an unnecessary maneuver. And I think that's what we had with Anstey. I don't think it was the dirtiest move in the world. I don't think it was over the line. I don't think it was highlight reel worthy. But it was certainly unnecessary, not called for, and he could have quite easily made a clean pass there and gone on his way. For instance, in contrast, you could say with Chase and Webb, for Chase to get through there in a section that really funneled down into one line exiting that turn, that was always going to be kind of a rubbing his racing turn. Whereas the door was open for Hayden to just leave Max and go on his way. And at the end of the day, it's very clear that Hayden was the fastest rider, was the best rider, all of that good stuff. So there was really no need for him to be concerned with his position in the field or what Max was going to do in retaliation, whether Max was going to come back, because I don't think that was ever on the cards. And equally, we saw in the heat race, that wasn't exactly how it played out. I do think that we saw that Max is officially a concern for Hayden based on some of the lunges in the heat race and the lunges in the main event. Those weren't pass attempts from a rider who believes that he has the measure of the guy in front and can bide his time and doesn't need to be overly concerned. Those attempts screamed concern to me. And I think that's ultimately where the unnecessary move came from. I also think what fueled the move is in the rhythm section before the longest on track, Max kind of moved over on Hayden a little bit to shut him down and stop him tripling singling. And knowing Hayden, I could see that winding him up to the point where he was like, watch this, and saw red. So I wouldn't believe if that's kind of the starting point for the whole incident. But the only other funny thing is I know that Yamaha sat everyone down in the week prior to San Diego and basically said, it's too early in the season to be racing each other. You can race each other later on. Play nice. Don't race each other. There are other guys who can win this championship. So for now, just be nice. And obviously that didn't work out. But that also leads us back to the unnecessary tag.
Okay, so you brought up the Chase Webb thing, and people are mad that more people aren't talking about this. But there's also people that are bringing up the Levi pass on Anstey, which I don't know that I look at that as quite the same. But either way, I wanted to get your thoughts on this. Like, in terms of, again, these are not, I'm not looking at any of these passes and saying, oh my God, it's so dirty. He's way over the line. But if you had to rank them for like aggression or if you want to use the word dirty, like what order are you putting them in?
A fan tweeted me and said, basically came down on the media for leaving out the fact, his words, leaving out the fact that Levi hit Max twice as hard. Twice as hard! Equally, I don't think the narrative with the Deegan pass is, oh my God, how hard did he hit Max? It's not a hardness situation. That's not a barometer here. It's more just the unnecessary nature of it. And I don't think Levi was similar to the Chase situation, where it was kind of more just a racing incident. And it looked magnified because of the way Max stumbled through the turn, but he blamed that on having no clutch because his clutch lever was all bent up from the Deegan incident.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I put the Levi attempt, if you want to call it that, pretty far last.
It's not even on the list for me. Before I saw that tweet, it didn't even register. I read that tweet and it took me 5 seconds. I was like, what did I miss? I was like, oh.
I would say I put the Chase and Webb thing closer than you're putting it, because I think that if Chase wanted to, he could have left more room for Webb. I understand what you're saying about that rut on the corner exit specifically being very one-lined and the berm wasn't as much there. Like, it was pretty flat berm overall at the end of the whoops, so it wasn't like you had this big thing to bank off of. But if he wanted to, he could have checked up a little bit more. He gave Webb no room. And so you could say that that was too much, aggressive, whatever you want to call it. And Chase even said, yeah, I didn't want to do that. And now he's going to be mad, and he deserves to be mad. But I also feel that exact same way about the Deegan Anstey thing. Like, if you're Deegan, you should be well aware now that Max Anstey is not going to be thrilled when you're on the same stretch of racetrack with him. And if he gives you one back, kind of a tit-for-tat situation right there. Like, I think that that's like turnabout's fair play a little bit when it comes to supercross like that, where if you're going to put someone on the ground, no matter the intent, you're probably getting one back. I look at this almost like a little bit like baseball, which baseball has dumb hidden rules, is if that's what you want to call it, where if a player on the other team gets hit by a pitch, the other team will retaliate by hitting their best player with a pitch. And like that kind of feels like the same sentiment here, where like, you did something to me, I'm going to do something back to you. Don't care the intent. It just so happened to be that way. And I fully expect Webb to probably run it in on Chase a lot different than he used to. And I fully expect Max to race Deegan differently than he did. I feel like that's a fair assessment.
The next narrative here isn't retaliation or anything like that. It's more the fact that Max is without doubt a much better starter than Hayden. So inevitably, we will have Hayden having to pass Max again. And in that case, Max isn't someone who can retaliate. It's more, does Deegan dish out the same treatment for a second time? I believe the chances and the likelihood, because of start, because of raw speed, because of general racecraft coming through the field, the chances of Anstey pulling to Deegan's rear wheel and having a chance to do something is so slim The opposite is far more likely, and that's Deegan having to come through again. And does he leave Max more room next time to try and be like, hey, look, I learned my lesson. That really was a freak deal. Does he dish out the same thing again? I don't know. That's more... Max's starts are what make this compelling moving forward, without doubt.
Well, so then yes or no, we will see Anstey give one back.
No, because as I said, I don't think he'll be in a position to, because he'll always be the man
but
ahead.
Deegan will pass him and then leave...
And if Max hole shots and Deegan has caught him and passed him, Max can't retaliate because that means Deegan's taking off.
But this is also where I struggle with these people that just say Deegan was going so much faster, move out of the way. That is not racing. Like people
Max
love
did move
Jason,
out of the way.
But he did. But I'm saying people love Jason Anderson immediately coming back with an aggressive pass on someone after he's been passed. Even if he's going slower, people love it. They love this type of racing. And they would absolutely say the same thing if the shoe was on the other foot and Deegan was caught and passed by somebody, if he actually fought back for it. He kind of did that in WSX a little bit. I don't know that that's a fair assessment to just say because he's faster, he's going to pass him and leave him. Max has the right to be able to fight for it, I think.
Yeah, but Max has come out and said he was letting him go because he knew that Deegan was faster.
I'm saying future. I'm not talking about this race.
Yeah, but
I think
Max,
this race
situation, the chances of him being in a situation to do something back is slim, in my opinion. The best thing he can do, in my opinion, and I may or may not have told him this, is pick the gate next to Deegs every time, because you're going to start better, so just fucking get the launch, cut across. Job done.
I disagree that he won't have a chance. I think that Deegan, yeah, he'll be faster. He'll catch him a lot of the times. That gives Max even more of a chance, if you will, to say, yeah, man, you put me down once, I'll just do it back. Like, for example, you go back to Cooper Webb when he used to battle Tyler Bowers, and Bowers at one point was faster than Cooper Webb, but Webb would just put him on the ground and go win the race. Like,
yeah, Max
end of story.
Isn't that smart.
He
said he's never taken someone out in his life, so I'm not liking the chances of him putting Deegan down.
I'm just saying, I feel like that what you're saying of him getting the starts opens up the chance more that something will happen again. Because I don't feel like Max just wants to like lay over every time Deegan gets to him. I feel like he wants to fight for this. Maybe you feel differently, but I feel like he will.
No, he does want to fight for this, and he's said a million times that he's woken up now or he's learned his lesson. I just think situationally, more times than not, if Deegan is going, if for the rest of the West Series Deegan gets to take 20 shots at Max, in contrast, I think Max will have 4 opportunities with Deegan. That's probably the best way to put it.
Okay, I disagree. Back to the main question that I did ask.
How can you disagree when Rider A is always going to be the man in front?
Because even if you get past, you can pass him back.
Yeah, but more often than not, if you've whole shot, he will just take off. Like, yes, okay, there will be some scenarios.
Yeah, Deegan whole shots, but maybe I'm wrong. I think Max is going to outstart him at every race this year.
That's what I've been saying. This is the basis of my entire argument. And look at a heat race. Max whole shot, Deegs passed him and went.
Yes.
Which means in that heat race, Deegs had 1 opportunity to put Max down. Max had 0 opportunities to put Deegan down. That's how I feel like most of these races will go.
My point is, Deegan will have to come through and pass Max. And as we say this every time, we say this every week now with Hunter Lawrence and Jason Anderson. When Hunter has to pass Jason Anderson, it's a hard thing to do, because even if he makes a clean block pass, the next corner is about to be a shit show. And I think that could be the reality if Max wants it to be. I don't necessarily think he's that type of guy, but I think that he has the ability or chances to do that. I don't think Deegan passes him and immediately puts 2 seconds on him at the drop of a hat. I think the next 3 or 4 corners are still open for the picking. And I think that Max will take a chance at one point.
It depends where the whoops are. Because if Deegan passes Max before the whoops, then yeah, Max will have another opportunity. All depends on where the whoops are.
Okay, we jumped way too far off of the original topic, which is, do you look at this in a vacuum every time? Yes or no? Like, is it just every pass is its own standing pass?
Yes, but the yes is starting to become a bit shaky.
But just for Deegan or for everybody? Like, do you look at everybody in a vacuum?
No, but we're not talking about everyone, are we? We're talking about Deegan.
Well, are you looking at the Chase pass in a vacuum?
Yeah, well, I can't think of another time Chase did this. Wasn't there an Anderson thing once? Or
Yeah, it took Anderson out last year. Yeah.
when was that? Last year?
Yep.
That's all I can think of. Also, I've just watched this back, so this is fresh in my mind. How sick was it in the heat race where in the first turn, Chase had kind of made the pass on Anderson. Anderson ran it up the inside. Chase countered with his body positioning, bracing for impact, but still was full commitment and tripled out the turn. I thought that was sick watching it back. I was like, that will go down as one of my highlights, most memorable moments of the season. Because you could see so visibly his body position brace for impact. Anderson did run it up the inside, but Chase still threaded the needle through there and tripled out the turn, whereas Anderson didn't. Thought that was sick. But anyway.
It is sick, but it's risky because if Anderson does make contact, you're getting clipped as you go for a seat bounce, which isn't ideal. So
I love the commitment.
But yeah, I think Anderson has raced Chase differently already from the few instances I've seen this year. Anderson races everyone a little aggressively, but I feel like it was a little bit more
Anderson
vinegar with
just
Chase.
raced everyone the same.
I don't agree with that necessarily. I feel like there's guys on the track that he does have pretty fair battles with, and there's other guys that he's had a history with that he'll make sure it's not easy for him.
My favorite moment of the main event was Anderson and Prado were battling, and I turned to Steve and I said, we have the most, what did I say? We have the most morally questionable racing going on with those two together. Because they're both like, it's not dirty and it's not bad, but it's certainly on the line. And putting them two together, you're just watching it and you're like, this is fine. But it could quite easily not be.
I know that you're a huge vlog guy, but did you watch Prado's vlog?
No, and someone told me I should because I guess from the A1 one, they made a point of putting in him going and shaking everyone at Kawasaki's hand.
Yeah, but
So I want to see this.
But more specifically to what we were just talking about, Anderson came up to him after A1 and said, I'll probably get the words of this wrong, but something to the effect of like, glad to see the real you again, or something like that.
Yeah, I saw that on social.
Yeah, so, I think there's a little budding friendship there. Both of them probably feel like their time at Cowie could have been better, I would say, and maybe they have a shared experience there.
Again, watching this heat race, and again, I had to stop after 450 Heat 1 to do this, so expect a lot of 450 Heat 1 reaction. Watching that heat race, it once again hit me. Cowie held on to Anderson for too long. It was just too long. It never should have gone 4 years. It was never, I bet when they signed Anderson in 22, it was never the plan to have him as their number one rider for 4 years. I mean, I know situationally there weren't really other options out there. Similar to maybe the KTM Tomac partnership, it was kind of like this is the best fit for both parties. It shouldn't have gone that long. It was too long. Number two guy, sure. Too long for the number one guy at Cowie. I mean, I said it before.
I feel like we're really putting the verses in this show, but I disagree. I think that in a way, I maybe looked at Anderson as ending his career at Cowie, like within the next handful of years.
I'm saying specifically as number one rider.
No, I'm not there. I mean, yes, at some point, I'm sure that they hoped Adam C. and Cirillo would take the number one rider spot for them. But like you go back to how it started between Anderson and Cowie, and I feel like all the signs were there that if things click, he's a championship contender on that bike again, which would make him the number one guy on that team. So I disagree there. Like the thyroid issues the last couple of years have really hampered him. He missed a whole outdoor season with injury. That didn't help either. But I think that he was a pretty steady staple guy on that program that at least showed the bike its worth pretty frequently and battled up front for podiums even when he wasn't winning races. So I don't know about that necessarily.
Yeah,
I think
which would have been ideal as the number two rider, but 9 podiums in 3 years isn't ideal as the number one rider.
Well, he won 7 races his first year there, though.
Yep, but that was a long time ago now, and that's my point, the 4-year mark. I'm not talking about the first 2 years. My point is the 4-year mark. Year 4 was too long for Anderson to be the one steering the Kawasaki program. And I think the heat race showed that because their new number one blew everyone's doors off. And it's like, oh, this is what the Cowie number one rider should be doing. Also, let us know in the comments, do you say Cowie or Kawa? Because more and more I'm seeing people in my messages say, how's the Kawa situation? Not an I, an A.
Yeah. I've never seen it written Kawa before, but
I don't know if it's a European
bro.
thing, because this mostly comes from MXGP riders.
Maybe.
So maybe it's a European change, but I've even had to change.
Since you're European, if you write Cowie out, like Cowie, is it always I, or do you ever use a Y?
No, it's always I. No one has ever used a Y
I've
in the
seen
history
people use a
of
Y.
Earth.
I have seen people use a Y. I've never seen an A.
Those people are mentally inept. No one has ever used a Y or a double E or anything, a silent B or anything like this.
Okay. Well, we beat this entire topic with a dead horse of a topic with a stick for far too long. Let's move on. I'll tell you guys about Partzilla, the PRMX Rocket Blaster Power race team with Cade Clayson, Mitchell Harrison. Jack Chambers is going to be out for a little bit. Broken wrist, right, is what the prognosis was. Hampton Hudson and Liam Alof will be racing east, although Alof did get hurt, so he's going to be out for a little bit. Anthony Bourdon in west. I hate that they still use the name Burden on the broadcast. I think someone needs to go up there and tell them how French names are pronounced. And then maybe we'll be looking for someone new, as you said, in the coming future with that program. But yeah, Mitchell Harrison got into your guys, so how do we feel?
Well, there's a lot to discuss here. Where does Jack Chambers' career go from here?
Needs to make a lot of improvements very quickly, or not good. I think.
No, I mean, I believe that he's going to be on PRMX for like that. I don't think that deal is going anywhere. They're tied into the compound. PRMX hold on to Cade, for Christ's sake. So there's clearly room to hold on to Jack. That was a joke, by the way, before someone says that to Cade. So I think that's fine. But I also do think that we're losing vital time at a crucial moment where he could be impressing and progressing. So that's a shame. I mean, especially a shame that before the wrist injury came the Anaheim 1 crash. I mean, that's a bad first week of the season to have two crashes, one that should have ended with injury and one that clearly did. Second of all, Mitchell Harrison. So like the extremely great journalist that I am, I hunted Mitchell Harrison down in San Diego airport. I got a word that he was in the terminal, so I found him. And I said to him, did Chase ever apologize to you? And he was like, why? Why would he? It was my fault. So there you go. Mitchell Harrison takes full blame. I don't know if that's because Chase paid him off, Cowie paid him off, or Kawa. I don't know. But Mitchell Harrison takes full blame. But the Chase incident pales in comparison to the fact that Mitchell almost decapitated Hunter, which could have been so gnarly and so bad, and Hunter must have shit himself. I would have. Yeah. I'm pretty sure anyone would have.
I saw that on Instagram somewhere. Burkeen maybe posted something. Did you see it?
It was, well, no, I saw it in person.
You saw it live, but I mean, did you see the video?
No. In person, maybe it looked worse in person than it did on video, but oh my, I screamed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was one of those, Hunter was already kind of in the air and he does like the panic rev, then brake and like brace kind of thing. And they just miss each other. Yeah, that was really close. But yeah, I mean, Mitchell Harrison obviously made it in the main again this week. He's looking fantastic. Our guy, Cade Clayson, not doing as well. Just tried to call me while we were recording this podcast. I said, sorry, I'm recording the pod. And he says he's more important. So I'm sad. But
that's on brand for Cade.
We do need to turn things around a little bit there. How do you rate what this team has done through 2 rounds?
Well, quietly, the Bourdon 10th place is really going under the radar, overlooked. Understandable when their 450 rider just got T-boned by Chase Sexton. Naturally, that will dominate headlines. But the top 10 for Bourdon is good. I like that. Yeah. Harrison's doing what Harrison is and should do. Effectively, my expectation with Harrison is he should never miss a main. And then anything beyond that is whatever. I think Harrison is good enough, without doubt, to always be in the main event. Fair? Especially, I mean, he's done it at A1. So going forward, it's only going to get easier.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. And it's going to be easier because people are going to get hurt. But, you know, if you put, let's see, we've already lost Faulkner for a round. Oldenburg and Bloss both missed this week. No Barsha this week. And Harrison was 20th at the first 2 rounds. So theoretically, you put all those guys, I would assume, in front of him. He should be 24th fastest. So I don't know about never miss a main, but I get your point.
It should. I mean, what does that mean? It's a racecraft at the end of the day. He went straight in through the heat in A1. Racecraft will get you there. I think that he should be doing it. And I mean, I don't think San Diego was his best ride, but the man was shook after almost killing someone and almost being killed himself. That's a day. That's one heck of a day at the races.
Yeah, honestly, it's kind of remarkable that neither he nor Chase did a little damage. I don't know about whiplash for Harrison or maybe a hand getting pinched bad for Chase or something.
Knee.
But the knee. I mean, they hit hard. That wasn't a soft little, bump and run. They actually smashed pretty good. And
as is the speed of Chase Sexton, it's going to be a fast-paced impact. It's kind of the way it goes.
I do think that as much as, yes, Chase and Mitchell both kind of agree it was more Mitchell's fault, Chase is not looking up as much as he says he is, I think. But
we need to see the video more zoomed out because the video doesn't show when Harrison entered the track, and ultimately that's where you would decide blame. So the video needs to be more zoomed out.
I saw a video from behind Harrison going onto the track, but I can't remember where. But just look up a little bit, Chase. Just tilt your head slightly up so you can see.
He'll tell you he does look up. His eyes are out the top of his eyeballs or his eyelids or whatever you want to say.
Yeah, and you guys at Vital, you used a very nice photo of him with his head tilted down but eyes up coming out of a corner, which would, be the reality. Most everyone's looking forward out of a corner, but I don't think Chase looks forward everywhere on the track.
I don't know if that's me or not, but I don't know. No one knows. Chase is very excited about his gear at A2. And to be honest with you, it may be overhyped because I'm expecting to be bowled over.
Well, he's already won Lit Kit the first 2 rounds, so how are we going to top this?
Well, the fact, I mean, Steve mentioned Lit Kit and that brought it up. But then in my interview, I didn't even talk about his gear. And he ended by going, you watch it A2, you look at my gear. So clearly this is amazing.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into our next topic. I'll tell you guys about Partzilla.com first, though. They're the premier OEM parts dealer and distributor. They sell OEM parts for Honda, Kawasaki, Polaris, Can-Am, Suzuki, Arctic Cat, Sea-Doo, Ski-Doo, and Yamaha motorcycles, ATVs, PWCs, and snowmobiles. Visit Partzilla.com to see their extensive line of parts and accessories. All right, so through 2 rounds, we have very much, I feel like, pumped up the fact that Chase Sexton, even though he's 18 points down, will figure out a way back into this. He was great at San Diego, in spite of hitting the gate, and probably should have or could have battled for the win if that didn't happen. On the flip side, only 3 points behind him, it feels like we're teetering into the drawer and about to grab the panic button for Cooper Webb a little bit. He's 21 points down. He has not had 2 great races. A1 maybe coulda, shoulda, woulda got on the box, but even so, it wasn't like he was anywhere near what Eli and Kenny were doing. It was just because he could have got to Prado, who was 25 seconds down of everybody. And then, this week, gets taken out by Chase, but I don't know that I looked at him as going forward the way Chase was. He wasn't going to get 4th in that race, maybe 5th. And here we are, 21 points down, 2 rounds in. And he flew home that night to Tallahassee to get to work this week, so maybe they'll figure something out. But how concerned are you that Webb has already dug too deep of a hole?
Well, first of all, I think it looks bad purely because he's in the 20s. And that, therefore, makes you believe he's closer to 25, and then you start thinking full race. So I think that's why the optics are worse with Webb. Also, because of how Chase came through in San Diego, I think that's causing a lot of people to go, well, but look how fast he was. Whereas we don't really have that with Webb yet. I do think on the whole, San Diego was worse than Anaheim. Anaheim, he was fast. He just made some dumb judgment calls, some mistakes, but he was fast. San Diego, he was kind of anonymous. He just was... I don't know if there was any moment in the day where Webb was really noteworthy. He would have been top 5, of course. And on the whole, he has been screwed once by the restart at Anaheim 1, and then the second time by Chase. So it would look a lot better than it is without those 2 incidents. That's without doubt. And I don't think he's out of this. I mean, of course not. It's Webb. Other guys will make mistakes. There's no way that Tomac won't have a bad race. And if Webb can get back to being Webb, which I guess is a question, then he will be chipping away with 1st, 2nd, 3rd. place finishes. I mean, it is quite striking that last year he was not off the podium at consecutive races once, and now we've started 2026 not only with being off the podium at consecutive races, but being outside of the top 5 at consecutive races, which is even more unheard of for Webb. And it is just weird because all of this talk about the title defense curse, and I don't know, maybe we should buy into this more because it really is bizarre how this keeps playing out.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't, aside from the strong ride in the main at Anaheim, I don't feel like he's really elicited anything that's shown me. He's never a good qualifier. His heat race at Anaheim was ruined because he had a terrible judgment call and plowed in AP. He did make it in, but bad gate pick. Yes, he did hole shot the first start, but we only got one lap of that before it was over. And I don't know that I looked at anything he did at Anaheim that would suggest he would have won that race either. I think other people disagree.
No, you're too down on him at Anaheim. You're far too down because he was really fast and spicy and he hole shot. And yeah, maybe he wouldn't have won, but I think he would have been at worst on the podium. Like, I think you're too
he's
down
on the
him at
podium.
Anaheim.
I don't think he wins though. And that's kind of my point, is that I think there are a handful of people out there that are like, he got so screwed at Anaheim because he was going to win that race. And I'm like, it was lap 2. So I don't know how we get there. But anyway, it's certainly not gone well. And I feel like the fact that they're already gone like to the level where they got a flight home 2 hours after the race in San Diego to get back to the East Coast to get to work suggests they're also kind of panicking. Like, not maybe panic button, but clearly they're frustrated about things and need to turn it around quickly. So does it happen right away? We've seen in the past where he goes home and works on stuff and comes out and wins the next week, but I don't think he wins Anaheim because he's never been that good at Anaheim.
His first 450 win came at Anaheim too.
Okay, so we're going 7 years ago?
You wanted to go 7 years ago with whatever the other thing we were talking about was? No, well, hold on. I've got it right here. Presuming that Anaheim is typically the 3rd round, fair? Yeah?
Yes, yeah.
At the 3rd round specifically, since 2019, he has been in the top 4 all but once.
Which was last year.
So, yeah. Which was his worst race of the year last year. And
yeah.
I distinctly remember interviewing him. A rare Cooper Webb post-race interview, and it came at his worst race, weirdly. He was so unhappy with the bike. And I haven't heard that at all this year. I've not heard, so like the whole going back to Tallahassee thing, I don't know what it is they would be searching for because I've not heard one complaint, I've not heard rumors of unhappiness or anything at all. So maybe less so it's searching with the bike and more so it's let's get into the normal routine because maybe it's like that's sort of a mental reset, you know, because naturally, I think being in California for these guys, you're not eating at the same places, you don't have the same food, you don't have the same gym access, you don't have the same routine as a result. I think it is quite nice to hit the reset button and just getting back to what you know and that comfort level. I think that can help.
Yeah,
so
I
just
agree.
Mentally, just get out of California because it's been rough so far, so just reset and get out of there.
Right. No, I mean, I agree with you that they're not probably like freaking out about the bike or anything just yet. It is weird that there's no rumors about those struggles or anything like that, but I would think that there's probably a couple question marks that they have, especially, well, really mainly the fact that he did look noticeably different from AA1 to San Diego just from comfort. The main event at AA1 was fine, but I don't think he looked comfortable at all in San Diego. Maybe you disagree, but qualifying aside, the heat race was meh. Main event, never got a flow going, even after he got taken out. And I think that's maybe where his struggle lies a little bit, is that the consistency with the bike and the frame, when he said on this bike he'd barely touched the clickers for like 2 years, is somewhere not finding that middle ground that he's been comfortable with. And maybe that's why they want to go back and figure some stuff out this week. Maybe they did make changes in California that he didn't like and he wants to go back to his base and start over. There's a lot of different question marks here, but I think it does need to get figured out quickly. Like, yes or no, he needs to be on the podium this weekend.
Yeah, and I think the same is true of Chase. It would be crazy for both Chase or either Chase and Coop to start the season with no podiums in the first 3 rounds. That's crazy. The craziest little fun fact of the season so far is Kawasaki has 1 podium across both classes, and it's not come from either Chase or Levi. No one's taken that bet pre-season. No, of course Coop needs to be on the podium at A2, as does Chase. They are literally in the same situations with me. The only difference is the optics of Chase look a little better just because the speed at San Diego has dominated headlines. But ultimately, from a scorecard perspective, there isn't much separating them.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's only 3 points, but I do feel that the optics look strangely different. But then at the same time, we left A1 thinking, like, what the heck did Chase just do? That was a terrible optics. So it is probably too fresh in our mind that Webb just didn't look good in San Diego. And I do look for him to bounce back. I don't know that he podiums this weekend, though. I think that I just don't feel like it's trending in the right direction yet. And it'll turn around quickly, but we'll see.
I guess you can be less critical about the need for the podium because realistically, there's Chase, there's Coop, there's Eli, there's Kenny, there's Hunter. So any one of those 5 riders could not podium just because of track position and situational stuff. So, like, not being on the podium isn't necessarily indicative of struggles or failure or any of that. I guess, so therefore I'll backtrack and say podium isn't necessarily a issue, but if not on the podium, I would like to see Coop not on the podium for a reason. Bad start, but he came through to 4th. In 2nd, but he tipped over. That I'm fine with. I just need to see some of that spice we saw at Anaheim 1.
Do you believe that the 5 riders you just listed, Tomac, Roxon, Lawrence, Webb, Sexton, are the only 5 that we'll see wins from this year?
Yeah, I think I said that preseason as well.
Yeah, I just didn't know if it confirmed or changed it.
Yeah, who would you pick as the other one off of that list? We haven't exactly seen anything from the others to say, oh, they're going to win. Prado, you want to have a talk about Prado potentially winning a race? Maybe I can get there, you know? Whole shot, maybe the contenders are buried, maybe the one contender that gets a good start washes the front, not mentioning names. Maybe, you know, maybe that's possible, but no, for the most part, it's coming from those 5. I mean, not for the most part, for the entirety, it's coming from those 5.
The question mark that you had around Prado when you said his name was hilarious. Prado, oh, we'll see.
I think, honestly, I'll take Prado in my number 6 seed. Honestly. I'm taking Prado above Anderson.
No,
I'm taking Prado above Anderson, just purely, again, because of track position.
All right, well, I don't think so, but if he does, awesome. He's freaking crazy. All right, before we get into our last topic of the day, we really got to talk about this Alpinestars Tech Air MX, folks. The Tech Air MX uses sophisticated activation algorithm designed specifically for ruts, berms, jumps, whoops, falling out of the sky, you name it, deploying instantly when it matters most. It's a fully autonomous airbag built into a compact chest protector, offering CE Level 1 protection on the chest and back, and when deployed, 4 times the back protection of passive armor alone. With multiple riding modes and unrivaled upper body coverage, Tech Air MX is the next level of protection for the toughest sport on the planet. And we got the craziest awakening to how good this technology works with that crash out of Justin Barcia at Anaheim 1. And massive kudos to Alpinestars for getting together, Barcia as well, to release the data that they collected from the impact that the Tech Air specifically took in Barcia's crash. It registered that he impacted the ground at over 27 Gs, which is 27 times the force of gravity, which is absolutely insane. Like, that's comparable with many car crashes and so on and so forth.
Yeah, they
it did deploy before he hit the ground.
With F1.
Yep, it did deploy before he hit the ground. Thankfully, I think it did after he made contact with Mookie. Like, before he was fully lurched forward, it popped from the way that it shows on the timeline. And then he hit the ground several more times, and it seemed to absorb a lot of the damage to the point where he only has a small broken bone on his back. So, and then Mathis tweeted yesterday, I don't know if you saw this, that they're looking for Barcia to be back maybe around round 6, 7.
Yeah, sounds possible. I mean, no surgery required. It just is a loosening up exercise. So I certainly don't think it's a long time that we're going to be waiting, which is good news because we get Austin back this weekend. We get Garrett back this weekend. Justin, Arlington time, maybe. So far, all of the guys that we've missed at different points, none of them are out long term, apart from Jet, of course. But
right.
So that's good news, and also good news. is I was talking to one of the Alpinestars men in San Diego in the elevator, and this man was escorting Liam Lawson around, and Liam Lawson asked a question about Chase. So Alpinestars man said, well, this is a man to ask about Chase, and therefore I got to have a lovely conversation with Liam Lawson, which I felt I thought that was quite cool. I don't know. I thought it was quite cool. I was quite happy with that.
And for those fans that only follow Supercross and Motocross, Liam Lawson is a active Formula One driver for Visa Cash App Racing Bulls in F1. So that's pretty cool. Nice job, Big Lou.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. And I actually was thinking, like, I wanted to ask him for just a quick interview for like post-race interviews, because that was when I was talking to him after the race. And I was like, oh, that's weird. And then afterwards I said, oh, yeah, I wish I'd done that. And they were like, yeah, you should have. That would have been cool. So I'm annoyed. But I thought it just would seem like that. I don't know. They don't want to do that, do they? They're off the clock. But
yeah, I mean, he just wanted to hang out, but he probably would have done it.
But it would have been
cool
interesting to be like, give us your top 2 opinions of San Diego Supercross.
Yeah. But back to the tech air just quickly. I do know that there are some non-Alpinestars athletes that are looking into this now. So we're maybe starting to... Huh?
Savoland.
No. We're not gonna try to pick out who it is. I'm just saying that it's interesting that there are people out there that have seen the technology and are interested in trying it, even if it's against their sponsors' wishes or what have you. So that's I think a big step forward in safety to have this as a potential, thing that people can use, even if they're not sponsored by Alpinestars specifically.
Yep, I'm going to be needed to get my hands on one here shortly. So
230s at Chambers.
Yep.
In July.
No, not July. April, May.
Oh. All right, let's get into our last topic of the day. Basically, we've been through 2 rounds and there's still a lot of racing left to go, but who has surprised us and who has disappointed us the most? Do you have one that jumps off the page to you for either, or would you like me to start?
Yeah, you can start.
I think that the obvious surprise would be just Jorge Prado's raw speed. I don't think I would have expected it to be that good to start off. It's been incredible, really. But on the flip side, what I will say is I'm kind of surprised that Hunter has already really planted his foot in this front 5 group pretty sternly. And aside from spending 16 laps behind Jason Anderson at A1, probably has 2 podiums to start the year, which is pretty unique. So, yeah, I would say Hunter Lawrence maybe my biggest surprise from a results standpoint, but Prado speed.
Yeah, Prado is the obvious one, so to stray away from the boring answer, I'll go for Ferrandis, because although there was a lot of Ducati hype pre-season, I honestly expected them to run into gremlins when they got on track. So maybe less so Ferrandis, more so just Ducati in general. 9.9 scores, very, very nice. Very good. It's on par with what Ferrandis has done throughout his career. So from that perspective, the Ducati seems comparable to the Phoenix Honda and the Star Racing Yamaha, which is good for them. So yeah, I'll take Ferrandis and Ducati by association.
Well, my preseason predictions have really been crushing it so far, Big Lou. How are yours going?
I don't remember what yours was.
I said Ducati is going to be like the one that no one is really thinking will do well, but is going to actually go pretty well.
Well, they do have one rider.
Well, I don't think you could blame the Ducati for Justin Barcia.
I don't know. We haven't got the data on that yet.
Okay. Disappointments? I
mean, it's got to be Webb, hasn't it? But not even. Like it's not from a. That's purely from a point perspective.
I feel like a dick saying this, but my disappointment is Cowie.
No. What, in 450s or?
Kind of both. As you said, the only rider for them that has a podium right now is Cameron McAdoo. Levi Kitchen was supposed to contend for this championship. He's gone 6-4. Chase Sexton was supposed to be the saving grace. He's gone 8-4, and he's hit the gate. Garrett Marchbanks added as a second rider, doesn't make the main at A1, crashes by himself, crashes during the week at the test track, misses the second round of the season. Like, I feel like it's not necessarily Cowie's fault that I'm pointing blame here, but it just is not going well so far. And I think that that's like a disappointment given where it's started in the offseason.
I'll go RJ, just because there's been a lot of mistakes. I know he's recovering from an injury, and he said not to judge him until Indy, which is some way out. He was actually quite candid in revealing that, yes, he and Malcolm have both had broken scapulars, but Malcolm's is just chipped off the top, whereas RJ's was broke right through the middle of it. So I don't think we should underestimate the recovery process that RJ is going through. He hasn't tested. He's very open about his lack of prep. But equally, there's been a lot of mistakes, and it's I'd just like to see it be a little more solid, more so than better results, just more solid.
This isn't a part of this, but it's a curious one. Who's done exactly what you thought they would?
Kenny, without doubt.
Kenny? Okay.
Yeah, Kenny is the only one on this list who has done exactly what I expected from them. Maybe AP as well. I think I would have signed up for an AP 10-7 to start the year.
Yeah, I could believe that. I mean, aside from his result at A1, I was expecting Joey to be strong. I don't know about fifth, but I think he's done... Like, he's in the points. Probably not where I expected him to be, but the riding has been what I expected out of Joey.
Yeah, fair.
So, but yeah, I could get on board with Kenny. Kenny's been good. 250s? Do you have a 250 guy that you're like, yeah, he's done exactly what I thought?
Well, they kind of all have, with the exception of Levi. Max is about what I thought. Hayden is about what I thought. Maybe Hymus is a little better. Moserman a little better. Ryder D, what I expected. Levi really good, just the results don't show it. Although Levi is only 9 points down, so this is far from catastrophic. Yoda I expected to be great. So no real standouts there. I will give an honourable mention to Justin Cooper, who has not started in the top 15 once, yet is still fifth in points.
Dude,
a shit ton of passing points.
He's like Mike LaRocco, but a little slower. Like, somehow, some way has turned into a terrible starter when he used to be a really good one. But he's unbelievably consistent and steady. And by the end of the race, you're like, oh, there he is again. Like, not battling for the win or anything, but there's another good result for Justin Cooper. And he kind of felt like that was LaRocco a lot.
Yeah, he deserves a lot of credit for what he's done so far, because I do believe that this is impressive. Just no one is noticing. A, because it's Justin Cooper, and B, because he's coming from the back.
Yep. Do you have an underrated rider? One that
that's Justin Cooper.
Okay, so Jay Cooper, your underrated rider. Yeah, I almost want to go the same, to be honest. He's been really good. Can we say, like...
I'll go Levi as well, like, just because I think the results of a no podium, that's dominating headlines, but I do believe that on the whole, the riding has been really, really good. So I think that's being overshadowed by the shitty race situations.
Can I throw this one to you? Dylan Schwartz, underrated. I know he was in the LCQ this week, but he's 8th in points through 2 rounds when Supercross hasn't always been the smoothest of rides.
Yeah, but like, would I really be surprised that he's ahead of Avery Long and McAdoo?
Well, then how about Avery Long, underrated rider, 9th in points?
No, because that's about what I expected as well. Mumford can be a disappointment.
Yeah, would you see his crash in the whoops this weekend?
No. Is it on Instagram?
Yeah, he posted it, I think.
Okay, I'll look after this.
He was in a pretty good spot early in the main and then went down. So
yeah, I expected more from Mumford.
Yeah, I think a lot of us do. I think Mumford does himself. He's probably really pissed off right now. So
when do we see you in the press box again? Arlington?
Yeah, gonna be a little bit.
Arlington, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Will you stop by and say hello this weekend, or is that not even on the cards?
No, I'll come by and say hello.
Okay. No press day for you, I presume?
Probably not. We'll see.
Well,
maybe
what's the
not.
point?
I don't know. See people that I haven't seen in a little bit. You know, it's been 2 weeks almost.
Stacked press day this weekend. Cowie.
I haven't seen it yet.
Star. Well, it's not out yet. But through my digging, Cowie, Star, I think KTM as well. Stacked press day.
I bet Steve doesn't go to it this time.
No, we discussed this. He is coming in early for press day.
Oh,
or he said he was gonna. He said, "Oh, I think I'm gonna drive down on Thursday to do press."
I'm shook. We're literally scaling up in 26, Lou.
By he says do press, but he doesn't do press per se. He just attends press.
He grabs a Starbucks coffee and talks.
But even press day in San Diego, he didn't talk to anyone until riding started. I don't think he arrived until riding had started.
Oh, well, there was plenty of text messages.
Yeah, he was very confused. Bless his heart.
Yeah, he's trying. All right, I think that's our show. You got anything else to add from San Diego? Little tidbits? Do you have an Am I a Dick? Anything fun?
No, I had a great time, to be honest. A lot of friendly remarks, a lot of fan meetings, a lot of compliments. I had a great time. Felt on top of the world. I'm a big Yard House supporter, but I think the nostalgia is clouding my vision. I think what I believe Yard House is in my head is not quite what it is in reality now, and I think I need to move on from that nostalgic influence. Although, I will say, 2 moments in the weekend. One, Yard House with Steve Weege and Justin Brayton. At one point, I did look around and go, this is just normal, but tell 10 years ago Lewis that this is normal, and that's weird. I was like, oh, that's weird. And then equally weird, Ricky coming up to me on press day just to generally talk. I was like, again, like, it's normal, but after 10 minutes of talking, I randomly, like, looked at him and I was like, you're Ricky Carmichael. Bit weird.
Did you guys talk about 01? Because he has the replica bike from the weekend.
Nope. He was asking me questions. He was asking me questions because he wanted to know about Chase.
I'm sure he did. You know, he could probably walk down there and get some insight.
Why'd you need to when you got Lewis?
Well, Liam Lawson, Ricky Carmichael.
Oh,
you're the Chase Sexton whisperer.
Yep, this is it. Actually, I didn't put those two things together. Max messaged me Sunday morning. How's Chase? Like, yeah, it's good. I am PR firm, man.
Well, I think what needs to happen next is you actually going in his motorhome whenever and stop being pussyfooting around it.
It's scary.
He invited you. If you walk in and he goes, "Why are you here?" Just say, "You literally invited me. I have it on film."
Was it in the interview or was it after the interview where I told him to clear out a cupboard because I'm going to bring clothes to A2? Was that in the interview or after?
You said something like that because I think you said he's rebutted and said, "I'll just wake up and you'll be sitting on the couch."
Yeah, because then after the interview, he said to Cowie, or he said like, "Oh, Lewis can come in my motorhome whenever he wants, by the way. Like, that's fine." And I said, crucially, he said I can come in and never said anything about when I have to leave, which basically means that I live there now.
Yeah, well, you said I'll be here Sunday, I'll be here Monday.
Yeah.
You're just going to stay in. Do you know his motorhome driver at all?
No.
You should become best friends with him.
No, don't need to.
Road trip. He can road trip.
I'll tell you what has been nice as well. We're now just talking, but the people that can get annoyed, this is the end of the podcast, so who cares?
Yes.
The Star rig is obviously very empty because Hayden's in the 450 side, which actually is important. I saw a lot of tweets. What's it like back of the truck? They are separated by quite a ways because it goes 450 truck, hospitality, 250 truck. So not only are Max and Hayden not in the same truck, they are separated by a completely neutral truck. But anyway, because there's only Moserman and Max, I'm allowed to just go in the Star rig whenever I want. I left my stuff in there this weekend. I just went up after practice and just sat in the rider lounge. Don't even have to ask anymore. It's brilliant.
Any weird looks from Brad, Will?
No, even I.
Say hello to Bobby.
First time I was talking to the team and I was like, "Oh, how's Max?" And they were like, "Oh, just go and ask him." And I went, "Oh, what? I can go in?" And they went, "Yeah, why not?" So now I'm just up there.
Yeah. I have an open invitation from Bobby and his wife to come in that I have not done yet. So I need
There's no way Bobby remembers that. There's no way Bobby remembers that.
I'll do it at some point.
I will say, from being up there, fuck me. In outdoors, being a rider on Star must be hell on earth because it's just Moserman and Max up there, and I would say you're at the limit of it being comfortable. You know, like putting 6 riders up there, like Max was explaining to me, like where everyone's stuff goes. Oh my, I cannot think of anything worse. Coming in from a 30-minute moto, sweating like hell, wanting to die, and you are crammed in. I mean, it must be hell. I'm
sure by outdoors they tell Moserman he can't keep his grand piano in the lounge, right?
It's not good. It's not, honestly. I can't. I've said to Max many a time, I wouldn't be able to do this. This is too much.
You didn't watch the show, but yeah, they put Moseman playing piano with no sound, large on the broadcast during the 250 main.
Yep. Where was he playing it?
In the airport last week. Nope.
Wait, that's been a thing before. We've had that on TV before. Moseman in an airport playing the piano is definitely not new.
No, but this one was a recent video. They said they captured that video at LAX after A1.
Well, I'm gonna sit at LAX this weekend with my drum kit and see if I make it on TV. I'm gonna stand in LAX airport with a triangle, just bing, bing, and see if NBC come by. And here's Lewis. He plays a triangle in his spare time. Do you think I should? So should I do job swap?
Yeah, 100%. You should do it before Kiefer and Steve do, so you can say you got the upper hand on them.
Yeah, I don't know who called it job swap, but I regret using the name swap in it.
We now know neither of you will win Media Member of the Year this year, so you got to start getting the upper hand on 26 by now. You got to get going.
Honestly, I would normally say no to this sort of thing, but I do think this is one of those things that you look back on and you go, you should have done that. Oh, that's so cool. No, and ultimately, it's really easy to do because, with all due respect, all Chase needs to do is interview me. Not like I'm asking a lot from him. So it's just on me if I do it. And I would really like to do the gym stuff because I've wanted to do that for a while. I
think you need to make Chase write an article.
I'm going to make him do the MXGP pod with Adam because he watches MXGP religiously. He talks to Tom. Me and Adam have been talking about getting Chase on there as a guest anyway, just to bench race. So I'll make him just do it. That'd be great. Because he has a lot of MXGP opinions. He knows who Ken Diker is. Quite impressive.
Well,
he's also very insulted about who knew? I contribute to the Chase Sexton downfall. Been playing on his mind all week. All week.
You kept saying in the interview, that was a joke, man. That was a joke. And he just kept saying, but that was crazy, man. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, because after the race, after Anaheim 1, I didn't interview him, but I just went by to talk to him. And the first thing I said to him is, what are we doing? And he was like, what? And I was like, we look like Ken Diker out there. And I just left it there, but I guess that really left a lasting impression. He changed the height of the foot pegs. So now and it's like, wait, was that a performance thing or was that just a Ken Diker thing?
Well, he was extremely keen to tell you that the bike looked taller this week. We made these adjustments. Now I fit the bike better. Yeah.
He didn't look like Ken. I was dramatic with a Ken Diker, and then he didn't like my reasoning of me saying, well, everyone said I used to look like Ken Diker, so now I can say Ken Diker and Chase. Didn't seem on board with that either.
Well, it's because you dragged him into your circle with that, and he doesn't want to be associated with your riding.
Weird. Final point. Weird that he was so offended by me saying Lewis and Chase rather than Chase and Lewis.
Yeah.
That, I would never in a million years think that would resonate with him, but it seemed to really fuck him off.
Because you said Ben and Lewis, and then Lewis and Chase?
No, I said Lewis and Ben, Lewis and Jeffrey, Lewis and Chase, and he kept going, why are you putting you first?
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
And I was like, I don't know. But weird that he would notice that, and weird it would fuck him off. But never mind. All fun and games.
Someday Chase will look back and be like, if I could have just not let Lewis get to me as much, I would have won more races.
I make champions. It's worked out pretty well for Jeffrey Hurlings. That Max Anstey guy, I mean, we were trending. It's just, I'm the new Jen Alden Baker.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, guy might be... Okay, go ahead.
No, go on.
I was going to say, one of your guys may be aggressive this weekend and the other guy may be aggressive against. So you're going to have to deal with that emotions.
Biggest mistake I made in that interview, when we were talking about us swapping jobs, I should have said, do I need to hit the gate as part of this job?
You should have, yep.
He would have fucking loved that. That would have got him. He would have. Also, final point. So, as we all know, Lewis has come under some fire from external parties because in my interviews I'm too casual and quote unquote disrespecting the riders. Well, fuck me, Lewis. Probably not ideal for when Chase goes on a long speech about all of the testing. Probably shouldn't have just gone, you're a pain in the arse, aren't you? Because that plays right into the negativity.
Yep.
Yep.
You're just dragging him down, man. I also love that in your interview at like 7 minutes in, you guys both are kind of like, yeah, let's wrap this up. This has gone too long already. And then you did another 11 minutes.
Okay, so behind the camera, at the 10-minute mark, you may have noticed this. At the 10-minute mark, I stopped recording because I was done. And in the time that I stopped recording, he went, "What else?" And I was like, "Oh, I'll keep going." Honestly, I think it's one of those things. I think I don't stop because I think he wants to keep going, and I think he doesn't stop because he thinks I want to keep going, and I think we need to be better at being on the same page.
I mean, I don't know who wants to talk more, Chase or Max's kid. Like, I think they both have a lot to say, and they want to keep you going with it.
A lot of people didn't see this, but maybe the highlight of the weekend is me interviewing Max's kid, stopping the interview, and him going, "No, I'm not finished." Like, oh, sorry. Like, wow. That is literally Max Anstey all over, in a nutshell. That, like, don't need a DNA test. That would be Max Anstey's kid.
I told my wife that story, and she just busted out laughing, man. Oh, my God.
Okay, finally, back by popular demand, the PR people want us to do the PR power rankings once more.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
Well, so, I've given this a lot of thought. Coming in at number 1, it's a bit of a resurgence. Kawasaki. Freshly baked cinnamon rolls were gifted to me from PR.
Sir.
Yep.
I like them. They released zero information about what happened to Garrett Marchbanks.
Yeah, but I did ask and I got it. But I did ask and got it. So
okay, but just put it out there.
Okay, fair. But I did get fair. But once again, the bar is fairly low.
Okay.
This is like winning the 250C group, you could argue.
I feel like you're a little partial to the person who rides for them now, but that's okay. Keep going.
Honestly, I don't know, Kellen. Maybe Kawasaki is the best team in history. I've really had my eyes. 2, HRC. Always a consistent performer in the PR ranks. They called a PR meeting with the press this weekend to discuss scrums and whatnot. So that was impressive.
Did we get anywhere?
You may not be on the group text, actually. I'll add you. Okay, this is awkward. There's a new group text with HRC, which they did it following Cowie's lead. So we have to remember this. So Cowie, this is where we're at.
I met the new chick last weekend, and I don't think she remembers who I am, so that's okay.
Okay, well, that's great. 3rd, do we even have anyone else? Katie, you know what? Had some good interactions with KTM PR at the weekend. Helped me out. I helped them out. A lot of they had the phone torch on. Do you want light for your interview? I said it's fine. They went, "Are you sure we can do this?" That was impressive as well. Big weekend for the PR. Great performance across the board. We're really resurging in 2026. And Suzuki don't have one. Triumph don't have one. Beta don't have one. Ducati do? But not really seen much from Ducati so far, have to say. Yeah, but I think that not really seen much. And Yamaha, I don't know, man.
They're trying.
Can we get the PRs back? For the love of God.
Yeah, they don't send PRs out anymore. That's not good. No, you blew this. You blew it. Because it is still by a large margin club number 1. It's so far ahead that we don't even maybe want as much as they give us, but they give it to us.
No, they're in a different category. They don't belong in the same category.
It's their PR guy doing PR, man.
They're in the satellite team category. Because you can't judge it based on these. You can't judge it. We're fucking far in the weeds. You can't judge it based on these smaller teams because it's so in their interest to get publicity and get their message out that it's a completely different ballgame. Whereas the factories, really deep down, they don't care. So it's a different ballgame completely.
Well, to make sure that these factory teams get it through their heads, I will keep singing the praises of Club MX and what they do from a PR standpoint until the factories get there.
Akin to Jet being out and us awaiting his return, Dirt Bike Depot are gearing up.
Yeah.
The series is missing them at the moment.
Wide open.
But just like Jet, the work is going on in the background and the comeback looms.
It's going to be good. Did you see who posted a video from MTF? Someone posted a video of Marcus Phelps at MTF, and maybe it was Dirt Bike Depot actually posted it, but they said, "Who is this rider?" And Davey Millsaps commented and said, "Someone that really needs to hit the whoops faster."
Really?
Like,
wow.
Why? It was so aggressive.
Yeah, that's really aggressive. This is why I'm scared fucking stiff to do the job swap. And this is why I don't ride. Because these people will come down hard.
Now, you know what sticks in my head? I remember I rode not really with, but around Ryan Villapoto at a Yamaha shoot one time. And I came off the track and I was exhausted and I just felt like I was in everyone's way. And I asked Ryan, I said, like, does it piss you off that us idiots who cover the sport look like that out there? And he straight up was like, no, man, that's not your job. This is my job. I'm supposed to be good at it. You guys are supposed to be good at something else. So I just hold that in my head.
That's PR answer. That's a PR answer.
I don't think so because we weren't around anybody.
That's a GPT answer if I've ever heard one.
Whatever.
No, the haters, Kellen. They exist. They're out there. I did consider briefly flying in a good friend of mine from the UK who's very good on a bike and having him do the riding part for me as a stunt double. But that's probably going to be... It probably wouldn't go down very well. Someone would figure it out. That would have to be a heavy embargo on... there would have to be a lot of NDAs signed for that to go through.
Yeah.
What else? This is way better than the podcast. Fuck, the first hour was boring as hell. This is way better. Yeah, good. Yeah.
Do you stay in the same hotel in Anaheim every year?
No, so there we go. New conversation. So the hotel I stayed in at Anaheim 1 was $500 for 3 nights. Okay?
Okay, yeah.
Which is fairly normal, I feel like. Weekend prices, that heightens them. Typically, supercross, Thursday to Sunday, I feel like $500 is about the price. Fair?
Yeah.
Yeah. 400 to 500, somewhere in there. The same hotel for the same period this weekend for A2, $1,100.
Just because you booked it like closer, or because
it's been like that. Like, I don't know. There must be something going on this weekend. I don't know if it's because of Martin Luther King. Shout out to him.
That's today, bro.
Yeah, I know. We're celebrating.
Why would it be this coming weekend?
Because it's like Christmas. We're celebrating all week. Presents, turkey, the lot. No, I don't know. And all the hotels around Anaheim are so expensive. It's crazy this weekend. So Anaheim 1, I stayed 4 minutes from the stadium. It was lovely. This weekend, I'm staying 20 minutes from the stadium because that was the closest I could get with it being the same price bracket as A1.
There is a event going on in the Anaheim Convention Center called the NAMM Show this
Maybe
weekend.
That's it. The NAMM Show? Flashbacks?
NAMM Show, yeah. Maybe there's no rules in there. Yeah. All right. Are we good? Do we have enough fun banter at the end of this podcast, Lou?
I swear to God, this is the end. We made it quite clear that we were done. If there's a single complaint about this ending period, I swear to God.
Do you want me to put like a massive graphic on the screen that says like leave now if you want no moto stuff or something like that?
I don't even know if this is non-moto stuff. This is just generally talking.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for the pizza reviews. It's a real different vibe from week 1. Really,
dude, you gave it horrible scores.
Yeah, but to be honest, I felt like the first one was really boring because we were like 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. That's boring, isn't it? We need to spice it up a little bit.
We need to make sure the sound quality is a little bit better too. It was rough this week.
Why? Because of the background noise or?
Background noise and stadium echo, and you guys sounded like you were in a hallway, and yeah, so.
Usable or no?
No, somewhat usable.
Okay. Wow.
We'll work on fixing it.
What a shame.
You said that like 3 times in the review too.
Do you not know where I got that from, though? Do you not know where I get that from?
No.
It's possible that no one will get this reference, but it's dear to my heart. So every Gordon Ramsay cooking show where he judges people's food, his reaction to anything that's slightly inconvenient is he goes, damn, what a shame. So I just took that for the pizza review. But no one's going to get it. But I really got a lot of enjoyment out of the fact that I got to basically do the Gordon Ramsay thing and go, damn, what a shame.
The pizza reviews are hot in the streets, though, man. I'll tell you, I had a lot of texts about that. And I was surprised at the fanfare behind it. But hey, we'll see what happens this week if people are still that excited about it.
Well, so you're not going to be there as press, but can we at least book you for the pizza review?
If I'm there on time. I know it came in like noon last week, right? So I don't know if I'll be there that early.
Time will tell.
We'll see. All right. I think that's enough of the Leatt LVK More Than Moto podcast today. If you guys enjoyed this end of the show banter, let us know, and we'll continue it next week where we just talk about life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness and many other things. Thanks, Big Lou. Good to see you again, buddy. I missed you this weekend.
Thanks, Kellen. I'll see you. Well, maybe not. I'll see you in Arlington.
See you at Anaheim.
Just see you in Arlington.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Thanks again to Leatt, Partzilla, and Alpinestars for back in the show. We'll see you next week.